Really proud to be here today and to be a part of this wonderful symposium. Of course, the focus is on both housing and health equity. Certainly important denominators in the equation for how Oklahomans can continue to live such meaningful and inclusive lives. At the Administration for Community Living, our focus group really is around programs for older adults and people with disabilities. Both of those populations, of course, are very interested in health equity and in some cases housing. So this symposium is excellent. Glad to be here, glad to be a part of that. For my presentation, I focused on the health equity side of that. I tied it into community living. At the Administration for Community Living, our goal is to make sure that people have whatever supports they need to remain in the community so that they're not put in situations where they have to go live in an institution or some other living arrangement that isn't preferred. So I talked about 7 different things and essentially hit a few of the highlights. When we talk about health equity, we often advance too far in the conversation. I always challenge us to back up a bit and appreciate, recognize, and support the criticality of some of these things. For instance, nutrition. We've got to make sure that our fellow Oklahomans have access to good food on a regular basis. And again, it's sad how many people are food insecure, how many people are malnourished. That's a challenge for us in America and certainly here in Oklahoma. Something else I talked about was really how do we make sure that people are protected, insulated from being victims of abuse. And I don't mean that only in its physical form, but we have so many people who are financially exploited, who are victims of some sort of challenge that is behavioral in nature that impacts their everyday lives. So when you get up in the morning, and if you want to talk about health equity, but you're fearful for your safety, you can't really talk about health equity. So again, that's the second part to the conversation that I think is so important. A third and final example, employment. So many older adults and people with disabilities want to work, but there are too many barriers right now for a lot of them to be able to have a meaningful opportunity in the workplace. So at ACO, we're committed to helping remove those barriers.